Within the same week, the overt activity returned to Mexico City, as shown in this unique video taken by Vicente Sanchez, the engineer that had filmed the Independence Day parade months earlier. Four days later, on November the 9th, in the area of the city known as Zona Volcanica, Angel Cruz, a student, took this video clip from his fifth-story apartment window. The ship appears to be slowly rotating in a counterclockwise motion as it disappears behind a neighboring complex. Guillermo Wemes from Super Channel 3 was present to record this dramatic segment. It wasn't until the object banked to the left over Atlisco that a familiar triangular form was identified. This rare comparison video, taken 2 years earlier in Belgium, shows an identical triangular-shaped craft. Utilizing optical enhancement, a star is faintly visible behind the object. When the star is used as a reference point, it becomes quite apparent that the erratic movement of the craft is that of the object and not the result of a handheld camera. Visual comparison of the two segments illustrates the similarities between these two craft and the similarities with footage taken over Tbilisi. And in this photograph taken in the state of Hidalgo, it strongly resembles a Variation 2 ship that was photographed by Edward Meyer in 1979 as it hovered over a wooded area in Switzerland. The similarities are amazing. 4 different configurations of spaceships have been seen in the skies over Mexico, and there may be more. Over Mexico City, the skies are becoming more and more crowded. A commercial airliner approaches for a landing as an unidentified object passes dangerously close. On March 4th at 11:30 p.m., the central control tower of the International Airport in the city records a flight of UFOs in the eastern quadrant. Shortly thereafter, the airport at Toluca confirmed the sightings and recorded the event on video. The electronic visual lasted for approximately 40 minutes before disappearing from the radar screens. The control tower operator allowed Jaime to examine the videotape. The light on the left of the screen has approached the other bright ball of light until they appear to merge as one, as if docking. Suddenly, to the left, 2 more luminous objects appear. As the 2 on the right separate, we can now see 4 distinct, unidentified objects. It appears to have lights within portholes, ringing its structure. The young artist's rendering took on new meaning. The similarities were amazing. The second photograph, the one on the left, was taken during the same time frame in the same area of Mexico. 5 flying objects. In this segment, shot on June 25th, the unidentified object appears to be rotating at 90 degrees. Note, the top of the object changing from white to black, as it rapidly moves through the cloudy sky. 2 days later, on June 27th, the ovnis reappear over Mexico City. Again, on June 28th, and again on June 29th.
Attention on the original segment of the Ataguin footage, which was only 8 seconds in length.
Okay, what we've got is we've loaded your Aragon footage into the Inovion VHS-3, and up here at the top are 6 sequential frames of the video footage. They appear down here, blown up times 5, frames 1 through 6 down here in the bottom. Take one of these and zoom in on it even more. We can go up here to times 8. We position what we'd like to zoom in on, and when we click on it, we're now looking at times 8 of that particular image. Since it was so far away from the camera, we only have 4 lines of scan that hit the actual image sensor in the camera. Those 4 lines right there, that's all that picked it up. And this over here appears to be very, very black, which is abnormal, and it shows us, and most likely, that this object was illuminated from this axis over here. This is a shadow from the sunlight. The best you come up with is kind of the hockey puck looking shape.
The Inovion had challenged and eliminated the Venus theory on this piece of footage. The object recorded on video was elongated and shaped somewhat like a hockey puck. It was not spherical. Venus would display symmetrical pixel characteristics because it is a sphere. And our atmospheric clouds would not pass behind the planet, yet clouds obviously appear behind this object, and this object, and this one, all filmed during the great solar eclipse. Tabasco, Hidalgo, Tlaxcala, Puebla, Mexico District Federal, and again in the state of Veracruz. The cities most affected by the activity were Atlisco, Metepec, Puebla, Mexico City, Pachuca, Tulancingo, Costa Rica, Nanchtel, Veracruz, Acayucan, Cardenas, Topoztlan. As depicted in this footage taken by Mr. Del Calejo from atop his apartment building overlooking the sprawl of Mexico City. H. David Froning, an aerospace consultant, speculates about the object's attraction to the transmission towers.
We, in our own planetary explorations, are extremely interested in any energy patterns emitted from places or things. We might assume that other explorers could be interested in even the simple Hertzian waves that our radio transmitters emit. In this respect, getting closer would be better, because signal strength is much greater closer in. And things such as amplitude and frequency modulations and beam patterns can be measured much more accurately in the so-called near field of antenna feeds. Thus, we might speculate that someone somewhere is adding to their database of electromagnetic signatures from various emitters on planet Earth.
His attention focused on the object darting around the radio tower, Mr. Del Calejo continued to record as a commercial airliner approached. Then, as if guided by an intelligence that recognized the close proximity of the oncoming airliner, the OVNI moved out of the way. Another airliner approaches, and it moves again. The possibility of onboard guidance illustrated by unique flight characteristics, had been seen in numerous videos. In order to closely examine the aerial prowess of the UFOs, one of the most dramatic segments was loaded into the Inovian computer.
He comes across the screen, he just abruptly stops and backs up and zips into the cloud, backs out of it, goes in again, peeks out, and goes out. Again, the motion is not recognizable as that of an aircraft or a helicopter.
During this computer examination, another remarkable discovery was revealed.
So, I mean, yeah, right there. Go back
Down
there,
there?
right there. What is
Right
that?
in there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really looked at that before. Let's zoom in on it and see. Oh boy. It sure looks like a hockey puck kind of shape, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think you've just found a second object in this picture.
Let's go back to the original shot.
Compare shapes.
Now move the cursor down from that object we just examined. Let's go to the other object underneath it. See that right
Down
there?
here?
Yeah, let's see what we can find out about it.
Something there.
So we may have
Right
a
there.
third object.
Yes, you may. Yes, you may.
Not only was the craft demonstrating flight capabilities unknown to modern physics, but there was more than one object in this footage, and it dematerialized within a fraction of a second.
Everybody's been watching him play peekaboo in and out of the cloud, and nobody's really paid much attention to down here. And that is definitely another object right there where the cursor is. Look how bright he is.
Why is
On that frame. There, that frame there, then go one more frame, one more frame, one more frame, one more frame. Look at that. You change brightness level, then it drops right off. In one frame, 1/60th of a second, that sucker changes intensity.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at him fade out.
The footage taken at Super Channel 3 had exhibited this same one-frame appearance. While closely examining other videos with transmission towers in view, another startling anomaly was discovered. Something again appears and vanishes in 1/30th of a second. Comparisons were made between the ovni to the right and above the tower and the object that appeared to be near the tower. Surprisingly, the digital enlargement detailed the shading and pixel similarities between the two images. Given this unique ability to materialize and to vanish in an instant,
Mr. Ikar detects movement in the upper right corner of his viewfinder and pans the camera towards it. The hollow grinding sound is that of his tripod. A cluster of unknowns are above the three below. The cameraman is overcome with excitement with the massive aerial display, and he should be. For the first time ever, a camcorder has recorded daylight footage of an armada of unidentified flying objects over a major metropolis. Note, the two objects above the AM reading on the screen will merge and reappear as three. Also note the gravitational interaction they display with each other.
There appeared to be 17 to 23 of these objects in the same image. We grabbed a single frame as he tilted the camera up. we stopped with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prominently visible in the picture. If we go in and zoom on this one here in the middle, we see our hockey puck shape. We get a little more information up here. This object had more than 4 scan lines on the original camera. We can see at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 and 10 up here. Let's just take this area here and take the color information out. Let's enhance the contrast. Now we can go take a look at it and see if they appear, if any more things appear to us. Now we get the idea of what the normal sky should look like at this point, and the object here doesn't appear to show any atmospheric disturbance or anything around it. Helicopters, things like that would. This object doesn't appear to be moving very fast at all. It's not emitting any great amount of heat because the heat waves are pretty apparent when you get into this type of thing that we're doing with the computer here. There's the other one. It's almost like they're fading in and out. If we were to take and release, say, 4 white balloons up in the sky and let them float up, you would expect to see all 4 of them look very similar. They'd all have the same intensity and whatever. There's no real explanation for 4 balloons being in the sky, one showing to the camera with contrasts like this and other ones like this, unless this one was way in the distance. However, the size of this object is the same as these. The other problem we had with it being balloons is if all of these were just floating up in the sky, then the direction of motion would be vertical. They would all be fairly symmetrical. They wouldn't change relative to position to each other as they floated up. When we look at the live video, several of the objects appear to move up and down. Some of them go side to side and do a side-to-side motion, and the others don't move at all. So if this one is floating up and this guy starts moving horizontally and then stops, it kind of dispels the balloon theory.
The unbelievably precise surgical